Okay, welcome everyone. As we, on this wonderful Monday, we are sponsored by A.B. Spry for the Refuah Shalem of Taiba Reis Bas Hinda, and for great zivugim for their daughter and grandchildren. We're sponsored by Baruch Ian, Lili Nishmas Yaakov Chaim ben Abba, Esther Bas Yaina, and Avram ben Shmuel HaKayin. We're sponsored by Shalom Fogel. Shalom is sponsoring the Shirley Nishmas Yaakov Zev ben Yehuda Aryeh, Rivka Bas Yaakov Yosef, Tevye Miriam Bas Gad, Yosef ben Sion ben Yaakov Zev, and for a great Shidduch for Chaya Tzivya Bas Shoshana Gittel. We're also sponsored by Eddie Chazan for the safety of Klal Yisrael and the Hatzlacha of the IDF with the hand of Hashem by Menachem Yemansky, who's looking for, all those looking for a Zivik should find it quickly and easily. And we're also sponsored for the physical, spiritual, and emotional protection for Yeshua Menachem Mendel Ben Bela Shendel Rivka. We are holding this evening on Daf Vav Amud Aleph, and we're ahead. We're holding as we welcome in. We're holding now by Ibayalahu. Wow, we're way ahead. 10 lines from the top. 10 lines from the top of Daf Vav Amud Aleph. Ibayalahu. We said that you shouldn't give loans or take loans. You shouldn't pay up a loan or take payment. You shouldn't do business 3 days before the Goyish holiday. Now that's a little bit ambiguous. Does it mean 3 days besides the holiday? Or does it mean 3 days inclusive of the holiday? Therefore, really, it's 2 days and the holiday. So, Ibayalahu, Shloishi Yamim Hein Ve'edayan. Does it mean 3 days inclusive of the holiday itself? So really it's 2 days plus the holiday. O Dilma Hein Beloyidayan. It means 3 days besides the day of the holiday. Tajma, Rabbi Yishmael Leimer, Shloisha Lefneim U Shloisha Lachreyen Aser. 3 days before and 3 days after. He holds that not only is it the days before, but the days after also the idolater is still feeling the effect of his holiday and is still mindful of his God and might come to thank his God. Now, Isol Kedaita Hein Ve'edehen, if it means they with the holiday, Rabbi Yishmael Yomei Dein Chashav Lu Meikara V'Chashav Lu LeBesayf. So Rabbi Yishmael counts the day of the holiday in the beginning, and he counts it also at the end. So it would be 3 days before includes the holiday, and 3 days after includes the holiday. But if you hold that it means it without the holiday, so no. So you see, this the Gemara finds difficult. Let's go this over again. It's a tricky question. It says Rabbi Yishmael Mishleishel Lefneim V'Shleishel Achrein Aser. 3 days before and 3 days after is Aser. So now, if you say that it means 3 days without the holiday, so then it's very good. 3 days before the holiday and 3 days after the holiday. But the isal kedai techein ve'edeyen, if it means together with the holiday, then it would be the 2 days plus the holiday, but then it shouldn't be 3 days afterwards, because if before the holiday it's only 2 days, then after the holiday, no, it's only 2 days with the holiday, and then after the holiday it's also only 2 days. So it should say, Rabbi Shmuel, you can't count the holiday both in the beginning and the end, so then it should be 3 days before, including the holiday, and 2 days after. So the Gemara says, you're right. It's the Gemara, please don't interrupt. The Gemara says that you're right. It's 3 days before, including the holiday. And really, it's 2 days afterwards. But that would sound funny to say 3 days before and 2 days afterwards. So I did the Tana Shloisha Lefneim, Tana Nami Shloisha Lachreim. But Eino Chanami, if you count the day of the holiday, so then it would be 2 days before plus the holiday, and then 2 days afterwards. What do you want to ask? Tajma, Tajma, another attempt at a proof. The Amar Rav Tachlifi bar Avdimi Amar Shmuel, Yom Aleph L'dibrei Reb Yishmael, the Sunday, because in many societies, Sunday was worshipped, as it sounds, as the day of the sun. Now, if you hold that it's 3 days before and 3 days after, besides the day itself, then according to Rabbi Yishmael, all the days would be forbidden. Because Sunday is a holiday, so then Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos is 3 days before, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is 3 days after. So if you hold that it's without the holiday, then according to Rabbi Yishmael, all days would be forbidden. So let's see this inside. Tajma. Da'amar Rav Tachlifi bar Avdimi Amar Shmuel. Rav Tachlifi bar Avdimi says in the name of Shmuel, Yom Rishon L'divrei Rabbi Yishmael, because of Sunday, according to Rabbi Yishmael, La'olam Asur, it would always be forbidden to do business with those that worshipped Sunday. Because 3 days before would be, remember, because Rabbi Yishmael holds 3 days before and 3 days after. 3 days before, if you don't count the day itself, would be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Shabbos. And 3 days after would be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But v'isal kedai techein ve'edeyen, if according to Rabbi Yishmael, it's including the day of the holiday, so then there would be days that are permitted, because the days before would only be, since we include Sunday, it would only be Friday and Shabbos. And the days after, which would be only 2 days, would be Monday and Tuesday. So then Wednesday and Thursday would be permitted. Wednesday and Thursday would be permitted. Says the Gemara, you're right. Our Shaila wasn't according to Rabbi Yishmael. He who says 3 days before and 3 days after, it's 3 days besides the holiday itself. But the Rabbanan who say it's only 3 days before, does that include the day of the holiday, or is it besides the day of the holiday? So Ravina attempts another proof. Ve'elu hein eideyan shel oivdei kochavim. The following are holidays of the oivdei kochavim: Kalanda, Sitarnura, and Kretasim. Now, two of these holidays, V'amar Rav Chanan bar Rava, Kalenda is Shmoina Yomim Achar Tekufa, is 8 days after the winter solstice, and Sitarnura is Shmoina Yomim Lifnei Tekufa, is the 8 days before the solstice. V'simonech, to remember that there's a holiday after and before, Achar V'kedem Tzartani. Now, okay, so it's 8 days before and 8 days after. The Gemara will later on in the Masechta tell us why they made these days after the winter solstice and before the winter solstice into holidays. The Gemara will talk about that. That's not for now.
This is a lot of time off.
Huh?
This is a lot of time. You know, if the Jews are doing business, they can't do business. It's a lot of time.
Correct. The Isal Kedaita. Now, if you're going to say that hein ve'edehen, that when it says they and their holiday, right, that it's includes the day itself, so then why does it say? You see, the Mishnah says that it's forbidden 3 days before. But in the event that it includes the holiday, so then why does it say 3? Here, in the case of a holiday like Kalenda, which is 8 days, and it would be 2 days before, so then that should be 10 days. See, if it doesn't include the day of the holiday, so then it's telling us, besides what the holiday is, whether it's 10 days, whether it's 1 day, 3 days before is forbidden. That's a constant. But if it includes the day of the holiday, then why only say 3 days? If there's a holiday that's 8 days plus 2 days before, then there's also 10 days. Says the Gemara, no, we're viewing all 8 days of calendar like 1 day, because it's like one long holiday. So it's 3 days because it's 2 days before plus the holiday. In this case, the holiday is 8 days, but if you use the holiday as one day, Tana Kule calendar Chad Yumu Chosheble counts it all as 1 day. Amar Rav Ashi, Tajma. The Gemara again. Remember, the Gemara is persistent over here in trying to figure out when it says 3 days. Does it mean 3 days besides, exclusive of the holiday, or 3 days, inclusive of the holiday? So says the Gemara, Amar Rav Ashi, Tajma. Lifnei dayan shel oivdei kochavim shloisha yamim. 3 days before the holiday, you shouldn't do business. V'isal kedaita chein ve'edayan. If it was it and its festival, lisnei, it should say a dayan shel oivdei kochavim shloisha yamim. The period of their holiday where it's forbidden is 3 days. The chitei mahaydiktani lifnei edeim is coming to exclude from the opinion of Rabbi Yishmael that it's only limutei la'achar edeim. So says the Gemara, but still it could have said lisnei edam shel oivdei kochavim shloisha yamim lifneiim. The holiday is 3 days, which includes before them. Elishmamina, from the fact that it says lefnei eidein shaloiv de kachavim shaloish yamim, it means 3 days before, exclusive of the day of the holiday. Below eidein shmamina. That's indeed a good proof. Now the Gemara has another shayla. I will say that early this morning, I was a sandik by a bris, even though it's after Shkia. I think it's within 72 minutes. So I still want to give everybody here a blessing as a sandik, that everybody should be healthy and happy and have a wonderful summer. And I want to say how delightful it is to have Aaron join us tonight. 2 days in a row, Aaron. That's good. 3 days in a row. Okay. My apologies. Chazaka. As we welcome in Baruch Ian, Aaron Swade, Yitzi Fuchs, Saba, Berish Gesserman, Dr. Black, Marshall Castle, Dr. Guy, Yaakov Warman, Nachman Chapler, Shalom Fogel, Shimon Klein, Barry Cement, Shelley Zeitlin, Rabbi Kranz, Stephen Holtzman, Moshe Lehman, Yeshua Shmuel Eisberg, Ilya Shutman, Yitzi Muller. A lot of people are busy these days. It needs chizik because I know there are a lot of chasanas and graduations and all kinds of travel, all kinds of things. So we are mechazik one another in the learning of Teres Hashem. Ibaylahu. Now the Gemara declares what's the reason that you're not allowed to do business with them. Is it mishum harvacha? Because the guy will profit in the business, and then he'll go, since it's near his holiday, he'll go and thank his deity. And it says that Shem Elohim Acherim lo yisaskiru lo yishama al picha. You shouldn't cause the name of a deity to be mentioned. Oy Dilmor is the reason, because by selling them an animal, they're going to slaughter that animal to the god, and you're over l'fnei for actual idolatry. You're causing them to be over one of the 7 Noahide laws. Says Gemara, what's the difference between the two reasons? The difference is if he already has another animal. But still he profits, and he's going to thank his God. You shouldn't put a stumbling block, but you're not putting a stumbling block because he's going to do it anyway. Says the Gemara, if he has an animal, you're not over for lifnei yivel isita mechshel. Vatanya, Amar Rabbi Nassim, minayin shelo yoshid adam koishel yayim lenazir. How do we know that you shouldn't hand a cup of wine to a nazir? Ve'eva min achai lebnei noach, or a piece of meat from a living animal, a limb from a living animal to a ben noach. Talmud leimer lifnei yivel isita mechshel. Now, but if you didn't hand it to him, he would take it himself. If you didn't hand it to him, he would take it himself. Says Gemara, no. It's talking about where the wine is on the other side of the river. So if you don't hand it over to him, he wouldn't have it. He's on the other side of the river. He can't reach the wine. And by handing it over to him, you make it possible for him to be over the Avera. In Dekanami, it's implicit that way. Don't hand it over. Because if he could take it himself, you're not over Lifnei Yiva. Shmami no. Now, new question. If you didn't listen, let's pick a person. It's a hard decision. Marshall, right? So Marshall is told he shouldn't do business, and he does do business. Right? Look what he's wearing. Right? He does do business. Right? Are the proceeds forbidden? So Ibayalu says, Nasa v'nasan mai. Rabbi Yochanan Amar Nasa v'nasan aser. If he did business, the proceeds are aser. Reish Lakish Amar Nasa v'nasan mutter. The proceeds are mutter. Says the Gemara, Eisvei Rabbi Yochanan Reish Lakish. How could you say that it's mutter? A day and shalayv dekechavn Nasa v'nasan asurin. The holiday of the guy, if you do business, it's aser. My lav lifnei dayan. Doesn't that mean even in the 3 days before? No, says Reish Lakish. Loi a dayan dafka. Only on the holiday itself. But the 3 days before, you shouldn't do it. But if you're a scoundrel and you do it, it's not aser. Ikidam, right? It says a day in shalayv dekechav nasav nasan aser, which implies only on the holiday itself. A day ain't in, only the holiday itself, lifnei a day and lay, but not before the holiday. Says the Gemara, no, Rabbi Yochanan holds that before the holiday is also considered holiday season. Tana aidi v'aidi ederin karole. Even the days before is called the holiday season. Tanya Gavosei de Reish Lakish. We have a brayso like Reish Lakish. When it says that it's forbidden to do business, they only assered something that would last until the holiday. So you can't do business only with something that will last till the holiday. But if it doesn't last to the holiday, then it's not forbidden. The idea being that if it's something that lasts until the holiday, so the guy will see it on his holiday and give thanks. But if it's something, if it was a soda, so it doesn't last until the holiday, it's not forbidden. And va'afilu b'davar hamiskayin, and even if it's something that will last, if he does it, nasan v'nasan mutter. If he does it, then after the fact, it's permitted. So that's a riot to Reish Lakish. Tani Rav Zvid b'debei Rabbi Oishia. Davar she'ena miskayin. Something that will not last. Moichrin lahem. You could sell it to them. Aval ein loikin mehem. But you can't buy it from them. Because since it's a perishable, and he's very desperate to sell it, otherwise he's going to lose money, he's surely going to thank his deity on his holiday. Now here's an interesting case, what to do. Hahumina, there was this heretic who was an idol worshiper. The Shadalei Dinra Kesuna, he offered the dinner of the Tsar, a sophisticated dinner, Rabbi Yehuda Nisiya, to Rabbi Yehuda the Nasi, B'yom Eidai, on his holiday. So now what does Rabbi Yehuda Nasi do? He's caught in a conundrum. He's caught in a dilemma. Havi Yosef Reish Lakish Kamei. Reish Lakish was sitting before Rabbi Yehuda. Amar Heichi Avid. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi whispered to him, what should I do? Ashkelei, if I accept it, he'll be honored that I accepted it, that the Nasi accepted it, and he'll go thank his God. Azul Amaida. Lo Ashkelei, if I don't take it, Havileeva, it will create enmity. It's no good to create enmity. So what do we do? So Amalei Reish Lakish, Tel v'zroikei say lebar b'fanav. Take it and throw it into a pit in his presence. So the Gemara says that's for sure going to cause Eva. You take a person's you take a person's gift and throw it into the sewer. That's going to certainly. So he said to him, Amar kol shechein da'avya Eva. That'll certainly create enmity. So he says, no, kila'acha yad hu dekamina. make it as if it fell from you. So since it fell from you, he's not going to go and thank his God, because at the end of the day, he didn't accomplish anything by giving it to him because he lost it. On the other hand, it's not going to cause Ava because it looks like it was an accident. Now the Mishnah says, as we proceed over here, we are missing a lot of people tonight. A lot of people. So we need. These are times which are tzrich and chizuk, because it's the lazy days of summer are upon us, and it's true there are a lot of weddings, a lot of graduations, a lot of parties, but we need to be mechazik one another. Says the Mishnah, lahashilon v'lishol man. Marshall, when he wants to do something with his idolatrous buddy Ike, so before the holiday, it's forbidden to lend them something or to borrow from them something. So the Gemara says, Bishlai malash ilan. It makes sense that he can't lend them his expensive Weber barbecue to come arvachlu, because he benefits them, and then they'll go and thank their God. Avalishal man, but to take something, to borrow something, to take Ike's, $380 pickleball racket. Miyute kamamaylu. He's taking away something from him. Why should that be a problem? So the Gemara says, you're right. It's only a gezeira. Amar Abaye, gezeira lishol mehem atul ashila. That if you lend something, you might come to borrow something. Rav Amar, no. Kula mishim da azul l'maydahu. The Ike feels good. Oh, Marshall wants to borrow my pickleball racket. He could have taken it from anyone, but he wants mine. So, and he'll go and benefit. He'll go thank his God. Now the Gemara goes through the same thing with giving a monetary loan. La'al vaisam, it's forbidden to give them a loan. V'lil vaismam, and to take a loan from them. So the Gemara asks again, Bishleim la'al vaisam, for Marshall to give Ike a loan. Mishim de kamarvachlu, he'll thank his deity that he got a loan. El lil vaismam amai, but why should it be forbidden to take a loan from them? Taking a loan from them, he's not happy about it. Amar Abaye, you're right. You can't take a loan from them because you might come to give them a loan. It's all because he's going to go thanking his deity that, oh, the Jew needed to come on to me. Oh. You can't pay a debt to them. Marshall can't pay up a debt, or he can't collect payment from Ike. So again, the Gemara says, to pay him, Ike will go into his church and say, I got my money back, and thank his God. But why is it forbidden to collect money from them? It's taking away their money, the bank account goes down. Why is it forbidden? So Amar Abaye says again the same thing. Gezeira lifraya man. It's a decree against collecting payment from them. Atu lefaran, because you might come to pay them. Rav Amar again. Kula mishum da'azal umaydahu. It's all because he's going to go giving thanks to his deity that he was able to pay up a debt and get the yoke off his back. Utzriche. We need all of these cases. The itana lases v'lases imahen, that you're not allowed to do business. Okay, that we understand. You're not allowed to do business. Mishum de kamarvechlu v'azalamayda, because he gets benefit, he gets profit, and he's going to go and thank his God. Avalishal mehen, but to take a loan from him, to borrow something from him, his pickleball racket, the mimute kamamalu, because you're taking away his stuff, shapidami, I might think that's okay. V'itan alishal mehem mishum dechashiva le milsa. It's a matter of prestige that Marshall wants his pickleball racket. V'azal l'mayda. Avalilvais mehem. But to take a loan where Ike is worried I might never get back the money. We might think it's a distress. I might never see my money again. On the other hand, if it says to take a loan of money, I'll be able to get my money back. I have an IOU note, I'll take him to court. It's empowering that a Jew had to come on to me. But to take payment from a guy, a guy thinks, maybe I'll never have to pay. Maybe I'll get out of it. He's not going to see that money again. He might think, I'm going to push off payment. He might not see the money. And now that he pays, he's not going to see that money again. I might think it's a distress, and he doesn't go and give thanks. Kamashman, he does sricha, that he gives thanks, that he took this weight off his back, that he paid his loan. Rabbi Yehuda says that you could take payment from the guy before his holiday. That you could do. Because the guy is distressed about it. He's distressed. The Rabbanan say he might be distressed in a momentary sense, but afterwards he's going to feel good about it. So the Gemara now says, and Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold that way. The less like the Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold of this psychology that afal pisha meitzer achshav, even though there's momentary distress, sameach hu la'achar he's happy afterwards that he got this albatross off his back. Vatanya, this is an interesting application to the halachas of Chalamoid. Vatanya Rabbi Yehuda Aimer ishaloi sosud b'moed. A woman should not put lime on her face. It's a type of beauty care that a woman would put lime on her face, and the lime served as a depilatory to remove the hair, and it also created a shine, a radiance. So Rabbi Yehuda says that a woman should not do this on the Mayed, because when the lime is on her face, it's like a mud bath. It doesn't look good. He agrees that where it could be peeled off, you could do it. Why? That there she could apply it on the mayid, because afal pisha mitzira achshav, even though it has momentary distress, smechi lachazman, its causes are happiness afterwards. She has a glow. So you see that Rabbi Yehuda holds it as svar. So why doesn't he say it over here also, that the guy, even though he's momentarily upset that he had to pay money and be out of pocket, but he'll be happy afterwards. So he says you can't compare it to the halachas of Chalamoid, because by Chalamoid, all the heterim are cases where there's tsar in the beginning and benefit afterwards. The kulu meitzer achshav and simcha la'achazman. All of the heterim are where there's a momentary distress and a happiness afterwards, right? We know that you're allowed to do, for example, you're allowed to cook on Cholamoid, even though it's it's causing you momentary distress, but it's going to bring you food, right? You're allowed to do. So you see, this is the way we orchestrate all the laws of Chol Hamoed. Ravina says, Rabbi Yehuda holds, there's never a simcha by a guy with a payment of a debt. A guy never plans to pay. I'll get out of it somehow. I'll push it off. Maybe he'll lose his promissory note. I'm going to make a claim that it was a forgery. So therefore, the guy never comes to grips that he had to pay up the money. He's always distressed. He thought that he would get out of it. He thought he wouldn't have to pay. Very important that when a Jew takes a loan, he makes a very careful cheshbon how he's going to pay it. And if he doesn't have a cheshbon, he shouldn't take it. The Mishnah says that one of the most terrible things that the Talmidim of Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai found is a loiva ve'ena mishalim, is one who takes a loan and doesn't pay. And one who takes a loan and doesn't pay hurts it for a lot of other people. Because when a person gives a loan and he doesn't get paid, then he's not motivated to give loans anymore. So a bad apple ruins it for other people. Okay, Rabbi Isai, we're going to stop over here. It's a pretty quick share tonight. I want to say that once again, Wednesday is upon us, and I still do not have a sponsor for the Chumash share. Big parsha this week, Parshas Kairach. So I'm going to throw it out to our large Eilam, YouTube, Kol Haloshen. Maybe we could get somebody new. It's $360 to sponsor the worldwide global share on TorahAnytime.com on Kol Haloshen. You can text me to sponsor 718-916-3100, 718-916-3100, RMMWSI. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a wonderful evening.
How is Victor doing?
Good evening. He's recovering slowly in the hospital.